What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. In this training, we're going to talk about the lessons learned in 2024 and also previewing kind of 2025 and beyond, our predictions, and what we hope to happen. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. I'm going to get some help from those who are here. Where's my Zoom? Um, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Can some folks who are here live let me know if you can see the screen? Yes, quickly, yes or no in the chat. That'd be awesome. As well. Fantastic. Looks like we are good to go. So again, lesson is going to be 2024 college admissions trends, lessons that we've learned, and what's ahead for 2025, right? So here's the game plan for this little call here today. We're going to, talk about key 2024 admission insights that we've noticed. Number two, we're going to talk about what top colleges want in 2025 and beyond. Number three, some actual predictions for 2025. I think also did and beyond. And we also have an invitation for you guys to work with our team and a special 2024 holiday promotion that we're running as well too. Okay, so if it's our very first time meeting together, my name is Coach Tony. I've been doing college admissions now for 16 years. I started off as a former UC Berkeley admissions reader, so I helped evaluate applications. I said yes to students. I said no to a lot more students. Read over 20,000 applications during my time. You start to understand what kids get in, what kids don't get in. Since then, I got to work with UCLA as an outreach director, got to work with bigger areas all throughout California to learn how different areas are a little different from each other. Then I got to open my own high school, understand the high school end of how high schools work and how high schools can navigate the system. And I got to work with, as TikTok's first college admissions partner, got to work with some Ivies and some other really top colleges to see the other end of the game. So through the last 16 years, I've been helping families with this process and help them get into pretty much all their top tier colleges. And don't quote me for it. Here's just a few screenshots of kind of some of our success stories these past few years. So for example, you can kind of see here, I think this is last year's. So USC, Berkeley. See in the middle, top right middle, you have engineering Berkeley. On the right, LMU. You see Emory, UC Irvine, a BSMD, an accelerated BSMD program. UCLA and UC Berkeley here. Even more, you can see Berkeley, ASU, Berkeley, UC's in the middle here, Caltech. So one student here got a $50,000 per year scholarship, Cal Poly as well to Rice there. And we have some success stories from this year. So again, as the time of this recording, this is December 17th. So some of our 2025 students have already gotten accepted. So some of our students from this year alone, Chapman, this is earlier, right? Got Chapman $88,000 in free money. LMU, Santa Clara University, right? Cal Lutheran, USFCA, LMU, UPenn, right? And Cornell. We already got two Ivies for our students this year. And this call started a little late because we have two more success stories that just came in literally 30 minutes ago. One of our students just got, you can see a timestamps as well too, see how close it is. One of our students just got into Notre Dame. Actually, multiple of our kids. I just found the notification over here. Multiple one of our kids got into Notre Dame. And one of our students has gone to MIT as well too. So, man, very, very proud of all of our students, proud of our team as well too. So we don't just kind of teach the stuff, we kind of back it up with our own student successes as well too. Okay. So the goal of this session, I have two. Number one, just demystify the unknown nature of the college admissions process. People just don't know what it is. And the reason why we're so successful is we just know what behind the scenes looks like. So we want to teach you guys that so you can help your child achieve success. And our goal number two of this cause, if you guys are willing and able to, we would love to allow our team to work with your family to help you guys do everything. Tell your child, kind of map everything out for them and keep them accountable to their goals here. Okay, so starting off with the first topic, let's talk about some key 2024 admission insights. So the first off, a lot of this data that we're going to share with you is from the various groups that we're a part of. We're part of the National Association for College Admission Counseling, the Western Association for College Admission Counseling, and the California Association. We're really big in making sure that our knowledge for our students comes from not only from our personal experience, but also from a lot of experts in the space. So a lot our students get the most up-to-date information. So you guys get the best information out there. Okay. So first off, there's a surge in applications. I'm sure you guys have seen this. More and more students are applying to colleges. 41% increase in just the early applications these last few years. There's 65% increase as well. It just means it's that much harder people applying for these schools here. Right? This is the application volume, right? Shift in test optional policies, right? As of today, over 90% of colleges are test optional or test free, and about 4% of the common application schools, the common application is the application that a lot of schools use, the Ivies use them, a lot of other private schools use them as well too. About 4% of the common app colleges still require test scores as of today. A lot of schools now have record low attendance rates. Again, a testament to how competitive it is on this nature here. So UCLA is down to 9%, the first UC to drop under 10% acceptance rate. Stanford's a 3.9, Harvard's 3.6, Caltech 3% as well too. So numbers keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller, getting more and more competitive year after year here, right? And we're knowing some trends when it comes to students applying to different things. Early decision, early application, there's an increase in these types of applications for students, and students are applying more. I think that this number has gone up over the years. Students are applying to more colleges just because, again, right? It's not you apply, you're in. Some schools now is getting more and more competitive to do this as well. Okay, so the big takeaway from all this is that college admissions is getting more competitive and the landscape keeps changing. So the question is, how can your student stand out in this process? So in the second part of this little training, we're going to talk about what top colleges are looking for in 2025, right? So a few things here. If you're taking notes, now is a good time to start taking notes as well, right? So first off, when it comes to holistic evaluation, it's a huge key factor of how colleges look at students. It's not a number, it's not a certain thing that they're doing. It's the overall picture, the focus on the personas and the unique experiences of the students. Another one is going to be the extracurricular activities and leadership roles are going to be very, very important. Another big one is going to be the quality of engagement over the quantity of activities, meaning, right, don't do just 20 things for an hour each. They want to see things that you're involved in, that you're very invested in and spending a lot of time on as well. Okay, so that is the first part, the holistic evaluation. Number two is demonstrated interest in a school. Again, there are certain schools, again, they think top 100 colleges that are uber competitive. They want to know, why do you want to go to our school versus any other school? So this is where it falls under demonstrated interest. So your interest in the school, an easy way where they kind of test this and ask for this is in the why us essay, right? So why do you want to go to our school? Spoilers, a lot of students I've seen write this answer is terrible, right? In the way why it's terrible is, and you guys can test it for yourself. Use something we call the whiteout test. The whiteout test is if you see a student's why do you want to go to our school essay, right? Take out the school's name and read everything as is, right? Take out the school's name as it is. Can you stick another school in that spot and still have it make sense? I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you say, I want to go to Harvard. I want to go to Harvard because you have great professors, an incredible curriculum, and a rich history, right? Cool. But let's say I switch that word to Yale. I want to go to Yale because you have great professors, great curriculum, good history. I'm like, technically that makes sense for both of them as well too. So because it applies to both, that's a terrible why us prompt. Why us is unique only to that school. So when you're demonstrating interest to a school, it has to be that school. If you're copying and pasting, they know you're copying and pasting. That's not going to be unique there. Right. And also by applying early, you're also demonstrating that because, again, for certain schools, for example, like Stanford, they have something called restrictive early action. And a lot of schools with the early decision where you're locking in one and you're legally saying, if I get in, I'm going. Our student who got into Cornell, that's what they did. They ED'd to Cornell, so they got in. They're done. They just officially with us this morning. They helped rescind they withdrew their apps to all the other colleges. They're chilling now. They're gonna be enjoying the rest of their winter break, the next few months, and they're just gonna be enjoying the rest of whatever the next enrollment process for Cornell because that was their dream school as well too, right? So again, by applying early, you're demonstrating that interest to the school as well. Next one, when it comes to academics, right? Colleges prioritize strong grades and challenging coursework. Did you see the word GPA in here? No, there is no GPA word in here because, again, that's one of the big things we tell families not to worry too much about. GPA is just a number. It's a made up number. And actually, those who are watching this live right after this, we're doing a special training on GPAs and why it really doesn't matter. So if you guys want to stick around for that, feel free to stick around for that. But with this one, right, is we're looking for grade trends and the challenging coursework. And here, the second line, course rigor and not just grades, right? The rigor is the most important thing because, again, if you're aiming, and I'm thinking again, the top 100 colleges, you're aiming for these schools because they're hard, right? I don't know why people think these schools are easy. So they're hard for a reason. As a result of them being hard, right? You want to go ahead and demonstrate you can handle the hard rigor once you get there. So by showing that you are taking a rigorous course load, you're demonstrating that to the colleges, right? How can you demonstrate that rigorous course load? Through AP level courses, IB level courses, dual enrollment or college level courses, or honors courses as well too. Keeping in mind, right, a lot of honors classes that your school offers might not count as honors when you go cross state lines or being public and private. Not everyone's going to accept it. So the safe answer is try to keep your honors to AP, IB, dual enrollment. Those will always transfer as honors kind of wherever it goes as well. Next piece is going to be the authentic engagement and impact. All right, what does that mean? The first one, meaningful involvement in activities. You're not just doing activities for the sake of doing activities, right? I was just on a call with a family literally like an hour ago, and then they were asking, "Hey, should we do like insert the thing?" And I'm like, "What's the motivation behind that?" Because if you're doing it simply just to do it to look good for college, then I said, "Don't do it because it's not worth it." But right, if there's a reason, again, meaningful, there's a reason behind it. Yeah, the activity sounds great. Go for it, right? Next one, you're gonna align alignment of your extracurriculars with your interests, right? Don't do things just to do things. Doing things because, again, it's something interesting for you and something you're interested in. And the last one's probably the biggest one in this area, passion and curiosity, right? If you're bored, go to a lot of college websites and look at their mission statement. And their mission statement, their value statement, they use these two words so often. Passion and curiosity or love of learning is the other thing as well too. So if they're looking for that, that's what you want to demonstrate in your applications itself as well. Okay. Next one, when it comes to the writing component, right? Strong writing. I purposely didn't use the word essays because, again, I tell students don't treat them as essays. They're writing, right? They're a piece of writing as well too. So the big one, these are compelling personal statements is the key one. It's not a personal essay, right? It's a statement. It's like you're just writing something. And the biggest thing is you're highlighting the unique experiences and your growth, right? You're not sharing the story. You're not focusing. Sorry, let me clarify. You're not focusing on the story of what is happening. You're focusing on the experience and the growth. That's the key of the writing. A lot of students mess up this because they focus mainly just on like the story, the soccer game, the club, the obstacle, the family accident, whatever it is, right? But the true thing that college are looking for is not the thing, because how many other students have that same thing? If you want to talk about writing a research paper, how many other students wrote a research paper? So how special are you now, right? You're not that special, right? So But the motivation why you did, that's the unique angle that you're going to have for this here. Okay. Next one, standardized test scores. That's a fun one because I haven't had to like push this as hard in a few years, right? So this is gonna be a fun kind of I call a revamp, right, of how colleges are looking at this. When it comes to standardized test scores, think the SAT, think the ACT. Strong test scores can impress college admission committees, and also keeping in mind that some elite, some Ivy colleges are bringing back, again, keep in mind, only 4%. It's not like every school is doing it. You can kind of saw, right? 90% of schools, colleges today are not required at all. But that 10% left, right? That small batch of them that are left, right? They do require, and they're starting to bring it back as well. And you're seeing this more prevalent with the Ivies. The Ivies are the big ones that are bringing it back first. So again, big eyes on them. You can kind of see little sports in a little bit. Big eyes on them to see how this has shaped up their classes these next few years here. Okay. That has been the quick little like things. Now let's talk about some predictions, right? Every single year around this season, I would look back and be like, here's what happened this year. Here's what I want to predict to happen next year or in the future. So here are some of my bold predictions. You feel free to let me know in the chat. By the way, I see some questions start coming in. Keep dropping the questions. We'll do some time for some Q&A at the very end as well. Okay. So when it comes to some actionable predictions for me, at least kind of going through this process, seeing our students succeed. So what we're doing clearly is working, is number one, but also noticing some trends because I'm like, hey, there's something happening. Let's see if we can predict it. I think a good indicator of our prediction is kind of seeing things a little bit ahead of time and kind of catching bringing our families kind of to the forefront. And so instead of reacting to a lot of things, we're ready for like certain things to happen. For example, this first one, I don't think a lot of people have this on their bingo card for 2025. Admissions, my prediction is admissions will be a little easier for class of 2026. And you're like, holy moly, why? Right? So let me break it down. There's something called the enrollment cliff, right? Well, the enrollment cliff happens because let's zoom it back, right? If you go back in time a little bit, what happened in 2008? That's probably a sad year for a lot of people, right? 2008. If you think back to 2008, that was the year of the big recession, right? The big recession hit. So what happens when a recession hits, right? If you notice, a lot less babies were born that year, right? People were in people were in the mood, right, for a baby. There were still babies, of course, but not a lot as usual because every year it goes up. But that was the first year where it's a drop. Don't believe me? Go back in history, check it out, right? So that was the first year there's a big drop to basically there's a 15% drop, right? That's how crazy it was. 15%, right? So going into this upcoming year, right? There weren't more people. There's not more people. Literally, it affected everyone. So as a result of that, I do think that's going to play a role in the admissions process. How it kind of varies, right? I do think if you're aiming for mid-tier or lower tier, kind of lower ranked colleges, acceptance rates are going to go a little higher. So usually you start seeing a decline trend when it comes to admission rates. I do predict, my prediction is that for 2025, 2026, those next 2-3 years, right? The acceptance rates for some of the mid-tier and lower ranked schools are actually going to go upwards. Just because, again, there's going to be more opportunities because, again, it's pure supply and demand, right? Pure economics. That was my major in college, right? So supply and demand there. So because there's less supply, still same demand, there's gonna be more people getting in. So that's gonna be one kind of prediction I have. How is that gonna affect the upper tier? I don't think it's gonna affect it that much. So if you're still aiming for the top 100 colleges, not gonna make it just there. Maybe like a little itty bitty a little itty bitty change for you, but nothing super significant that you're like, oh man, shoe in for this score. Nah, again, that's one of my predictions there. Prediction number 2 is that there's going to be a continued emphasis on holistic admissions, right? So again, as we get more and more kind of complicated in the admissions process with things, as students get more and more better, right? In their process, they're getting smarter and smarter every single day. They're doing more and more things every single day, right? Holistic admissions is going to be such a big component of evaluating what students are going to make it and which students are kind of not going to make it in the process itself there. So when it comes to here, again, they're not just evaluating just the grades or just the test scores. In fact, little spoilers, I tell our families this is probably the least important factor of your admissions. Again, not saying it's not important, still do enough to do well, but right, there's bigger things that you should be focusing on to make sure you stand out is the big one, right? So talking about your experiences, your extracurriculars, your personal narratives, those will start to continue, right, to stand out. By the way, if you've been listening to me for the past few weeks, few months, few years for some of the families here, I've been preaching these three as the big core things you want to focus on because that's how you stand out. And again, as the year goes the year, those who saw our success from earlier at the beginning, I shared today. Right, we had kids get into MIT, literally one of the hardest schools to get into. Our kids are getting in, so again, we're cracking some code to get our kids in. Again, I'm telling you exactly what we're doing with our students, so you guys can kind of replicate it for you guys your own as well too. Okay. Next one, standardized testing changes. Again, not every school has changed their test scores. This is mainly, again, that top batch, those elite colleges that are went back to test required. I have my personal stance on should they not, but we don't decide. So we gotta play with the rules, play the game, right? So when it comes to here, we are gonna see, because the Ivies are almost like the forefront. If you think of it as the game of like, hey, who makes the first move, it's always the Ivies. The Ivies are always the ones who make the first everything. Everyone kind of starts to copy. So this is the first big year that everyone started rolling it out again. Hey, test required. So you'll start to see the results, right, of this admissions process, right? Some of our kids got in, so our prediction was so far correct for some of them of what to do, and we told them go hard on SAT for you guys, right? So for some of you guys, some schools are gonna see, they're like, wait, and I bet you the Ivy's gonna say it worked great. As a result of them making that announcement, more schools will kind of start to copy suit, right? Of course, there are going to be some schools that are going to stay test free. There are schools that have stated that they will stay permanently test optional as well. But just keep in mind, there will be, because of the Ivy influence, there is going to be some schools that are going to go back to test required. So double check your college list to make sure when you're applying, is it required? If so, you guys just take the test and get a decent score as well too, right? And then keep in mind, high scores can always help you with this. Again, unless it's test blind. If it's test blind, useless. But if it's optional or required schools, high scores can always help you guys there. So again, this might be something that, again, we haven't said this in like 5 years, but you might want to think about planning it back into your high school admissions process itself. Okay. Activities. Here's my prediction here, right? We've gone through the pandemic. All of us survived the pandemic, 2020, right? And we learned from 2020, right? Technology grew really fast. Technology grew really, really fast to the point now that I don't think students today have any more excuses for pretty much anything. Meaning the first line here is colleges are looking for students who are resourceful, right? Versus students versus looking for resources. In the past, you could say, hey, I don't have that resource. Hey, I don't have that opportunity. Hey, I don't have that club. I don't have this thing. I don't have that thing, which is fair, right? Certain people have different access to different opportunities. That's fair. However, we have now opened up the internet. We have opened up the web, right, to us, meaning a lot of our students who couldn't do certain clubs, we've taught students the idea of a virtual club. Virtual clubs, you don't really need your high school to approve. You can do it on your own. A lot of things you do as in person, you can do virtually now as well too. A lot of our students, right, instead of finding a volunteering opportunity traditionally, they're doing volunteering online. Instead of doing community service in person, they're doing community service online. So online is an avenue. And again, parents, you guys are working. You're on a computer all day too, right? Tell me that's not how the world's shifting and going towards as well. So in today's world, colleges want to look for students who are resourceful. That's the big thing to keep in mind because like, we can't really say, oh, I don't have access to blank. It's more of you made the excuse that you can do it. But there are students out there that are saying, hey, how can I make this happen still? And because you have access to your phone, I know a lot of you guys have access to a phone or a computer, right? As well. You pretty much can do whatever you want with those two devices there. Okay. I am also seeing a big thing in tech integration. A lot of our students, it used to be the CS students, engineering students doing all the techie stuff. Today's world, everyone's doing something related to the computer, related to the internet, related to social media, related to something. Because in today's world, especially like moving forward, it's 2024 now, about to be 2025. By the time the students graduate from college, they'll be 2029, 2030. Back then, I bet you the internet, everything's technology, we looped around everything as well too. So keep in mind, tech is being integrated into a lot of things that you can leverage as well too, right? I'm also seeing a rise in self-start personal project, and this is going back to that resourcefulness as well too. Don't not waiting for someone to give you an opportunity, you grabbing it and making it for yourself is the big thing as well. Okay. Next piece. AI, right? Those you know me, I'm a huge AI geek. I have pretty much all the AI tools. I built a bunch of AI things our students get to use and stuff. It's really, really awesome, right? So my prediction for AI, because again, right now we're in I call it the Wild West. The Wild West of AI. Everyone's creating AI. Really quick in the chat for those who are here, just to show a live example. Have any of you guys used ChatGPT at least once? ChatGPT is one thing. There's what else is there? There's Claude. There's a Perplexity. There's Gemini. There's all these tools, right? Have you guys used it at least one time? At least one time as well too. Let me show you. It comes out. People think AI is only this. If you guys use social media, how your feed is designed via via AI as well too. We've always used it. It's just no one, it hasn't been pushed in the forefront as fast as it has today, right? So a lot of people have done it. So if you guys use it, why don't you think as college admissions will leverage it as well too? This is one of my big things. I think college admissions will start to use it. The big thing, we went to the national conference for college admissions this past year, and there were like things like 10 talks on AI, and our team went to all of them to kind of learn the things. What are colleges thinking about? We heard AI from different admission teams and this and that as well too. And again, the big consensus is still the Wild West. There's no rules yet, and no one has been bold enough. No college has been bold enough to make an official stance yet. I do think going into this next year, more schools will start to establish more lines, right? They'll start to establish like, okay, you can use it for this, you shouldn't use it for that, right? And I think that's when it'll get really fun, right? Because for me, I'm really big on embrace technology. I think I will leverage it as best as you can as well too. I think there's lines though. There's some moral and ethical lines that students shouldn't cross when it comes to this as well. But it's a great tool, right? For those who have used it as well, right? It saves a bunch of time as well too. It's coming. AI agents are coming next year, which is again, if you don't know what it is, if you want to be scared, look up AI agents, and then that's coming in 2025 from a lot of these AI companies, right? Colleges will be implemented in some capacity, right? So I think they did a research study. I think 80% of admissions will be using it in some level through their process in some capacity. And I do think this is going to be how they're going to change evaluating college applications as well too, which by the way, right, helps our model and how what we teach our students to do a lot more because the stuff that we teach isn't really AI-able yet, right? It's one of the things because then if you say what looks good for college, right, you can that's the what. That's the what. The what is very replicable. Oh yeah, I could do that. I could do that, right? The what's are there, but what makes sure what different than someone else's. So for us, if you heard us talk a lot, we talk about the why. The why is the most important piece of the puzzle, right? So the why hasn't been AI-able yet. I know in a few years maybe it will, but until then, it's not there yet. So that's the unique thing. So again, a lot of our students, again, we know, right? As well for students who submit it, and I'm like, if I can catch it, I bet you the admissions people can catch it as well too, right? There's things that again you can use AI for. There's things it cannot do yet in today's world. So again, it's understanding what that difference is. But I do think it's going to have some type of lines and rules, regulations for his upcoming school year, which will be very fun because once you know it, you can know how to play within the rules next. Okay. Next one is a fun, interesting. Again, I'm not going to go into politics, but if you guys know some promises by our future president, they want to abolish the Department of Education. It sounds kind of silly, right? It sounds kind of silly, but if they do it, right, what's going to happen? What's going to be again, this is what I think about. You guys think about cooking meals for your kids, picking them up, taking them to sports games. I think about this, right? What's going to happen if the Department of Education goes away? And when it comes to college admissions, at least, not much, right? So when it comes to college admissions, college are pretty much self-regulating. That doesn't really get affected. So for us, we're good, right? However, where this affects, which I know affects most, if not all of you guys watching this call, is this affects financial aid, right? Because Department of Education houses FAFSA, right? The free application for federal student aid. It's the application that qualifies you for all the different aids. The Pell Grants, absolutely free money, right? Gives you access to federal loans, probably the best loans you can get to with the lowest interest rates as well too, and everything else that way, right? So if that goes away, what happens to FAFSA? We don't know. So that's the big thing. So one of the things again, a little tip for everyone as well too, right? Again, I don't like to be like, oh no, I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. I like to plan ahead of time. So for us, we tell families, hey, let's again assume it happens. Assume it happens. Assume the worst case scenario, something happens to federal aid. What's the next move, right? There's two things I'm going to recommend you guys do ASAP. One, institutional money. So for those of you know, Coach David, he's one of our head strategists in our coaching program. He also runs Financial Aid Secrets, a financial aid company that helps families with money. You saw some of our students earlier get like big packages, 90,000, 120,000 of free money. That's what Coach David and his team was able to help our students with. That's not federal money because a lot of our families, they live in pretty like affluent states, California, New York, Massachusetts, where their income is a lot higher than federal aid. So where Coach David looks for is called institutional money, which has a much higher limit through the colleges, which again, is really unaffected by this whole thing as well too. So if you guys are interested, go talk to Coach David about that. Or my other recommendations, look for scholarships. Scholarships is also not regulated through the Department of Education. These are external. These are like essays you can submit as well too. Our other head coach, Coach Art, he's the master when it comes to scholarships. We did a training on scholarships. If you guys need that, to let me know. I can send you guys the training on scholarships as well too. Again, keeping that open as an idea. What's going to really happen? Who knows? This is one of those like up in the air. We'll find out in the next like 100 days, 120 days in this process. Okay. That being said, again, I did say there is an invitation. I see some questions getting popped into here. We'll do that in a little bit. But before, I have a bonus section for you guys, right? I have a bonus section. Again, if you haven't taken notes yet, now is a really, really, really good time to take notes because I'm going to give you guys, if I was a student and parent right now, ending 2024, about to prep for 2025, this is what I would do. This is my personal checklist to make sure I have done so I can make sure next year is a success for me and or my child. Okay, so starting first, identify my college list. I need to make sure I know where I'm going, right? When I talk to families, they're like, well, where do you want to go? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, cool. You don't have to know, but let's create a list. Let's start creating a list of things. And right at the very beginning, and especially if you're like on the younger end, right? You're a ninth grader, an eighth grader, 10th grader, you're on the younger end of this, right? Just go broad, right? Go broad, add any single school that's on your list as well, and just throw them in. I do recommend at this stage, don't look at the price tag, right? People look at the price tag too early, I think, in this process. And then they're like, oh no, it's too expensive. Little fun facts for you guys. Number one, private public schools like the UCs, like University of Texas, University of Florida, the SUNYs, the CUNYs in New York, right? The public schools, they don't have a lot of money. So they're, even though they're cheaper, they're not going to give you as much money in return versus private schools. If you guys saw the news, right? A lot of schools upped their free income limits this year. I think MIT's up to like 200,000 a year and all this stuff as well too. So like these schools, these private schools, which much bigger price tags, they do have a more robust financial aid endowment that they can give you if you want to come to their school. So that's why I say don't do it now. Decide once you get all the packages. Once you get all the once you get like, I got in. All right, what's the best you can do? That's the best. Okay, that's out of my price range. That's when you should make that call, not super early, right? Because at the end of the day, once if you get in, it's just figuring out what the money is, right? So that's pretty much it. And technically, worst case scenario, if you get the loans for it, you can pay it off. Again, how much is college at the highest level school, right? I'll say the Ivies, or no, I think USC, it's at 80,000, 90,000 a year, right? Times four is 360,000, assuming you pay out of pocket or you pay no forgiveness at all. $360,000, right? I always ask students and parents, in the course of your child's life, are they going to make at least 360,000 or more? Will they make at least double that, 720,000 or more? At least three times that or more? I'm assuming yes, right? So again, if you want to think of it as an asset, as a investment in your child, right? That can also kind of help you think about this as well too. Again, that's assuming worst case scenario. Again, definitely try to find free money the best you can. Don't try to pay out of pocket completely unless you're like a wealthy billionaire, then you are good to go, right? As that. The other big tip I would recommend families do is treat the factors based on the student. A lot of times I talk to families, they're like, oh, I want no, my child should go to a school nearby. They should go to a school this. And I talk to the student privately, and that's not what they say at all. Keep in mind, parents, you're not going to college, right? You're not the one going to college. Your child is. Wherever they end up at, they will be there for at least 4 years, if not more, right? That being said, here's a little caveat I always say as well too. Parents, you're probably gonna be the ones paying for it, right? So that doesn't mean don't have a say on what goes on, but at least when they're deciding their college list, right? Feel free to give recommendations, but at the end of the day, your child is the one doing the work to get into those schools. And once they get in, they're the ones going through the 4 years. It's going to be miserable for them, but they're going to be going through it, and it was their choice. So keep that in mind there, right? So, but I would at the very least have a list that I want to come in the new year with. Then once I have my list, I want to identify a major pathway, right? Whatever major your child says they are, realistically, they're not. In this room right now, we have over 200 people. Thank you for joining me today. 200 people here. Statistically, right? Statistically, out of the 200 people here, 160 of your kids are going to switch their majors at least one time. Holy moly, 80%. 80% of students at least one time will switch their majors. So imagine they spend all this time preparing for bio only to switch out to something else, wouldn't you be kind of irked as well too? That's why for me, I tell families, don't worry so much about the exact major. Instead, focus on the pathway. So that's why we say identify the pathway you're in, because even if they switch majors, they might switch to a field inside that same pathway. So there's only three pathways that we've identified with our families. Number one is engineering computer science. Number two is any STEM or business. Number three is humanities or anything else, right? Those are the three big pathways that are pretty much out there. Think of any major you can think of. I cannot think of a major that doesn't fit under one of these three, because everything else captures everything else, right? So those are the three big ones. The reason why this is important is understanding this will tell you the overlays or things that you need to make sure you do on your academics and your activities. So this is kind of to help you guys understand, hey, this is what you need to be working on as a next step. Okay, so that's that. Once I establish my college list, my majors, I want to make sure my schedule, my academics are competitive. How do I do that? First step, ignore GPA. I said it once, I'll say it again. Your GPA is a made up number that makes you feel good or feel bad based on who you talk to. It's like your Instagram follower count, right? If those of you guys with big Instagram followers, are you good? Are you better than me for that? Who knows? Maybe you are as well too, right? But does that mean people with less are not as good as you? No, that doesn't mean that either. GPA is just a number, but GPA can mean two different things. Like I said, in a little bit, we'll do a breakdown of GPA so you guys can understand that in another training. But for now, just ignore GPA. Instead, what you want to focus on is I want to beat my high school's rigor. That's who you're really compared against. Not every single person applying to the school, mainly your high school, right? Your high school is like average is who you want to beat. So I want to know, hey, in my high schools, who's taking the most AP classes? Who's doing the most this and that as well too? And it doesn't have to be the exact person, the exact number. I just want to know the range, right? They're taking 2, 3 classes. Awesome. What I want to do is I want to match that or beat that. That's my goal, right? A little trick for you guys is how to beat that is to leverage something called dual enrollment. It's one of our big things we teach a lot. We have a lot of trainings on dual enrollment. If you need that, let me know. But if it was me, by the way, this December, if your child is eligible, meaning their grades are pretty strong this semester, I would actually encourage your child to take a dual enrollment in the spring semester as well too. And I would recommend you take 2 classes in the summer dual enrollment as well. This is going to up your rigor of your schedule very easily as well too there. So that's something I would do. And then the big question, to take the SAT, ACT or not to take the SC, ACT. So what I'm going to do is, should I? Right. So here's a quick little like flow chart for you guys, right? If I'm a freshman, I don't think about this. Number 2, if I'm a sophomore, I want to ask myself, did I just take the PSAT? If I did, what score did I get? If I didn't, I would tell myself during this winter break, let's take the practice SAT without studying. Is get a raw score, right? I have a score. Question number 1, do I have a really, really good score? Meaning, is it like pretty much near the top? If it is, then I'm going to study for my 11th grade PSAT because my 10th grade PSAT means nothing. But my 11th grade PSAT qualifies me for national merit. So if I get really, really good on that score, aka top percent on that test, I could get national merit, aka potential full ride scholarship, right? Free money. Can't complain with free money, right? So that's that. So that's first scenario. Next scenario is if I did okay, then I'm gonna take the 11th grade PST and just do okay, right? And just not say, just take the test, treat it as a practice. Then I'm gonna look at my college list. That's why we did the college list first. Look at my college list. Which of my schools are test required, optional, or blind? Option 1, if all my schools are test blind or test free, don't even do it. I am done. Close this book. Go on to the next page, right? Number 2, if any of my schools are required, all right, let's start prepping for it. I do recommend taking it spring semester, either March, April, right, depending on ST or ACT, your spring of junior year, and retaking it one more time, May or June of junior year as well too. Again, do you need to take a third time? I don't recommend it. It's not gonna, unless you know you can have a big score increase. It's just not worth the time and effort to study again for a third retake, right? And the last now is optional, right? Optional, we tell our students, if you take the test, you want to make sure your score is worth it to take the test to submit it. Meaning, are you close to the 50th to 75th percentile of the SAT average or ACT average, excuse me, of that school? If you are, take it or study, take it and submit it. If you're not close, don't do it. Skip it. Move on. Treat it as the optional. Treat it as the blind and move on there. Okay. Next, I would do after that is I would audit my activities list, right? The thing that I'm looking at here is not how impressive it is. I'm looking at how many hours did I spend on my activities, right? If I add up all my activities consistently, right? Some of you guys do like stuff for a season, stuff for a week, stuff for 2 weeks. Consistently, how many hours consistently do I spend on hours? Just give you a ballpark. If you're aiming for schools like the UC level schools, we'd like to have our students aim for 20, 25 hours of activities per week. If you're aiming for private schools like Stanford kind of schools, right? 25, 30 hours of activities per week. If you're aiming for schools like the MITs, the Ivies, 35 hours of activities per week as well too. Again, not saying you have to hit these. I would aim there. Our students aim there. They have to, you've seen they've done fine. So I will definitely copy that. Let's say you're like, we're not there yet. How can I get there? So there's three things I would have you do to get there. Number one, what is your child doing that they're already loving on their activities list? Do more of that, right? Is number one. So if they already like soccer, do more soccer. If they like their Girl Scouts, do more Girl Scouts. If they like dance, do more dance. Number two, what else does your child think they like to do? Try it, taste it. Adding on new activities on their plate is number two. And number three is what things do they want to major in or do as a career? Let's taste that. Because the reason why this is important is later on when you're applying to colleges, they're going to ask you why, right? Why do you want to do this as your major, right? If you just say, I want to be a doctor, so I want to do this, and with no experience, nothing, then you just kind of, you're wishing, right? Versus if you say, I've taken the classes, I've done the things, and I know I want to do this, that's a lot more like oomph to you, right? So that's gonna be a much better, stronger thing, right? So that's the odd activities. If I was a junior right now, so if you're class of 2026 watching this, right? We have an event called the College App Intensive. We already sold out in 3 weekends already, but basically the 3-day series, we help you basically with your entire essays, quote unquote essays as well too. So we have a kickstart. It's a 1-day event in the springtime. You'll come with nothing, leave with your first drafts done. And the second time you'll come back to us in summer. It's a in-person and virtual where it's a 2-day event. You'll come with your first draft done. We'll help you edit it all the way to final draft during that 2 days as well too, right? So if you haven't signed up yet, do it. Slide my DMs, text me, email me. I'll get you guys signed up for that as well too, right? If you are an incoming senior, same thing. If you are like hey, I'm a junior right now, I'm about to be a senior by next year, right? When it comes to the writing process, here's how I would write all your prompts. I would pick the top 5 activities, experiences, or identities that define who I am as a person. Do that first. I'm not even looking at the prompts, not looking at the essays, not looking at anything. I'm doing one of my top 5 things first, right? Then I'm going to figure out a story to each one. Hey, why did I pick math? What about math was so big to me? Oh yeah, that story was really big to me. Then I'm going to ask myself why that story was so impactful for me. And you start poking it. That's the insight part of these prompts as well too. Once you have that, then I'm going to go to the colleges and see, okay, which prompts do you want me to answer? Because most of them will let you have a choice, right? Which ones do you want to pick one, or like which prompts? Then I'm going to go ahead and start matching them up, right? Oh, this prompt, ask about my major, which is math. Let's tie that together. And that's how I would tie it that way. I would not start with the questions because, again, a lot of students don't know what they're doing. They end up writing in circles, and that's not the most efficient way to write. So this is kind of what I would do if I was a senior here. Man, was that helpful for you guys? Let me know if that was good as well too. Let me know if that was good. You guys like that? Was that useful? Go ahead and drop a yes in the chat, guys, if that was useful for you guys as well. A few yeses. Love it, love it, love it. Fantastic. All right. Boom. Hopefully I delivered some value bombs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to ask for 5 minutes to try to sell you guys now, right? I'm upfront about it at least. I'm going to try to sell you guys for 5 minutes, and I'm going to do Q&A after. Is that good, you guys? I'm going to try to sell you guys, so stick around for Q&A. If you want to leave, feel free to leave. But I'm going to try to sell you guys for 5 minutes as well. So if you haven't worked with our team yet, a few things, right? So why would you even want to work with people like me as well too? Number one, we already gave you knowledge. Again, for those who've been following us for a long time, I just gave you everything. Did I not give you literally step by step what I would do? Here's what I'm predicting, so you guys know what to do as well too. I'm giving you all the tools, right? Everything that we tell our students, we tell you guys. So you're on equal playing field. There's nothing that we're hiding as well. Our families who are here, they're here too. They know I'm not hiding anything that I'm not telling you guys as well too, right? So you have the same knowledge as them, and you're already doing it on your own. And clearly, it might not be working for whatever reason as well too. Maybe student-parent relationship might not be the greatest combination there, or anything else as well too. Or you're not sure if you're doing it correctly. A lot of our families, like first-time immigrants, or parents haven't gone to college in a long time. So am I doing it right as well too? So if you guys would like to explore, right? Not saying you guys have to, but if you guys want to explore the opportunity of working together, here are the next few steps. Number one, right? First thing we do, you can't buy in our program, by the way. That's the one thing we don't do. You can't just give us money and get in, right? First off, we do a 15-minute coaching call just so we can know where you at. And I just give you some help. If we don't continue after this call, I'm cool. I just want to help you guys out. Again, people on this call, I see they've done the call with me and we didn't sell them on that call as well too. So again, 15 minutes, start there. We can see if we can help. If you are still curious, you're like, hey, yeah, this sounds good. Let's talk about work together. We'll set up a second call. We'll tell you this is our program. Here's what it looks like. Do you want to work together as well too? You can't buy in that call either, right? You can't buy in that second call either. We just want to present the programs to you. It's a lot of information. So we send to you guys. You guys can take a peek at the family. And once you guys are ready, you guys can come back to us and let us know. We'll get you guys started. We do have a special bonus for families who do want to get started before the new year. So those who are interested, hang on tight, right? So let's say you guys do continue, right? So for those of you guys who are new in our families, this is what happens next, right? So let's say you guys get started. We have an onboarding call with you, help you guys get used to all the technology that we use. We do a roadmap call with you. We plan out every single thing from now until graduation for you. We help you figure out your college list. We recommend colleges for you guys. We help you figure out your majors, your career options. We map out your entire classes that you'll be taking from now until graduation. We recommend summer classes. We recommend dual enrollment courses. We help recommend activities for you to do. We recommend timelines, deadlines, and everything in between from now until graduation itself. Then we're going to go ahead and pair you with one of our success coaches based on personality, based on fit. And again, don't worry, if it's not a good fit, you can request another coach. We'll match them up to make sure it's a good fit for the student there. All right. Then on a monthly basis, every single month, there's two big things we do. We do accountability and we do coaching. When it comes to accountability, we're going to go ahead and check in with you guys on a monthly basis to make sure, hey, is little Johnny, is little Sarah, are they on the right track still? And if not, let's get them back on the right track. But we also, nothing's a surprise to us because we check in with the students on a weekly basis as well too. And in addition, if you have a question, you don't wait for a week, you don't wait for a month. We do daily coaching. We do daily chat support, message in, get a response back. We have daily office hours, jump on a call with us. We give you the answer. And we have our own AI support bot. Yeah, you know, I'm big on AI. AI, so it scrapes all of our information. So pretty much everything I'm teaching right now will be in the bot by the end of tomorrow. And so it can give you all the information about anything you pretty much need. So if you have a question at 2 in the morning, I'll be asleep. The AI bot is awake, right? Then in terms of our program itself, we're going to help you, again, I mentioned everything. College and career, we help you figure out your college list, narrow down your career choices, establish your majors. With the academics, help you plan out your class schedule, summer classes, dual enrollment. We also include a live SAT class. We're bringing it back because now more and more schools are kind of keeping us required. A lot of our students that got in, a lot of them had that now in their portfolio. So we're going to be starting our live SAT classes in January. Activities, we're going to have an activities list. Help you identify your activity list. We help you with a personal project. This is how you stand out. Think of it as a passion project, right? Never like the word passion project. Students have no clue what they're passionate about. A personal project, we help you guys with internship or research opportunities. If that's something you're curious in, if it's a good fit for you, we help you with your summer program application. By the way, spoilers, if you're interested in summer programs, apps are out now, right? A lot of apps open up in December and is due in January. So you have like 2-3 weeks to get them done. So definitely look into those as well too. College applications will help you finalize your college list, your majors, help you with your entire essays from the brainstorming phase to the writing phase. We help you edit till done as well too. We help do mock interviews for our students and help you guys with scholarships along the way, helping looking for scholarships and helping you edit your scholarship essays as well. The holiday bonuses. So if you guys are interested, for the families who get started between today and December 31st, right? 3 bonuses for those families. Number 1, get a roadmap by me as well too. So I'll be helping jump in to do your roadmap for you guys as well too. I will, just a caveat, I will rely on our strategists to help me out with that. They are way smarter than I am, but I'll help conduct these for you as number 1. Number 2, we're launching a private incubator workshop, right? So internship is a really cool opportunity to get hands-on experience in things. We're going to teach you guys how to do this for free. No connections needed. I'll teach you. There's a private workshop with step-by-step guidance on like you want to get internship, let's do it, right? No need to know anyone. By the end of the workshop, you should be able to do it. And if not, we guide the students because you're in our program. We're going to help you with that to make sure you get it as well. And if you guys want to do the SAT self-paced class, we have a platform for you guys to use as well too. Okay. That being said, if you guys are interested in setting up your 15-minute initial call with us, you can text the word holiday to 949-298-6234. Again, text the word holiday, 949-298-6234. If you already had your 15 minutes, but you haven't jumped on a program proposal call with us yet, text the word holiday, 949-298-6234. We can go ahead and connect you guys with that as well too, right? And then all the bonuses are good until December 31st. All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions for you guys. This will be a fun call. All right, first one. What's the intake percentage of international students, Stanford and Harvard? I have no clue. I'm sure I can Google it if you want to Google it as well too, but I have no clue. Top of my head, right? Is that next one? Are you only on focus on UC schools? No. Again, I think you missed the intro. Whoever, I'm just go back a little bit for those who came late, right? Right? So this is our success stories. Like this is a USC. There's Berkeley. UVA, Emory, LMU, UCI, BSMD program, LA, Berkeley, Caltech in the middle, Rice here. There are UCs though. I was a former UC Berkeley admissions reader, so it's that. And this year, this is this year, by the way. This year we haven't brain fart. The UCs haven't released yet. Right? UCs haven't released yet at all, right? So basically, we haven't done that. So this is just as of today. One of our students got into Chapman with a $90,000 scholarship. Some of our students got to LMU this year, LMU, Santa Clara. One of our students got to UPenn, Ivy League. One of our students got into Cornell, Ivy League. One of our students got into Notre Dame. Actually, two students got to Notre Dame today so far. And one of our students literally, again, I was late to this call by a minute because I was trying to screenshot this. One of our students literally, was it an hour ago? An hour ago, just got into MIT as well too. So holy moly. Holy moly, I tell you guys as well too. UPenn is Wharton. UPenn was Wharton. It was the business school. All right. Will this call be recorded? It is. It will be recorded. If you guys want the replay, you can text me the word replay, and then I can say holiday replay because we do a lot of trainings, a lot. So I'll just message the word holiday replay and I can get you guys the recording. If you guys register for this, you guys will get the recording automatically. If you somehow found this call somehow as well, to just text the word holiday replay. This would not be posted online, so this would not be like on YouTube or anything either. This is a private training that we hosted as well. Okay. Do they think, I'm assuming this question was, do you think they used the AI this year as well? I know some schools did because they did say that on their process, right? But did they? Who knows, right? And for the stuff for me, we again at the release, we can't control what the school does. There's a lot of things, and I usually find out my data afterwards. What happens as well too. I have friends who work in admissions, so I get some data, but even they don't know usually what happens till they actually go through the process of it as well too. So I'll have much better data in a few months when my friends give me the updates on here's what actually happened behind the scenes. Because this year is a big year of changes, right? From the admissions itself as well too. That being said, a little pro tip for everyone. What we had our students do, so you have to either you can copy it or whatever. We had our students when it came, because then a lot of people were freaking out. They're like, hey, my thing's showing up as AI, right? Here's a tip for you guys. Use Google Docs and type everything out. Google Docs has a running like minute by minute history of how you did it. So how can you minute by minute edit and get it wrong? So it's a good kind of backup measure just in case they say, oh, do you use AI? I didn't. Here, look, I edited it. Here's what I did, blah, 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 right? So that's a little pro tip there. Cool. Awesome. That is pretty much it for this call. Apologies, please text the number. Don't write it in Zoom. I do not have access to the Zoom numbers here. But go ahead and send me a quick text message, 949-298-6234. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to another call right now. So go ahead and text there. And then we're gonna go ahead and do that. If you have any questions, go ahead and slide in my email. Text me, email me, Facebook me, whatever it is. Super excited to look forward and working with you guys in this journey as well. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great rest of your day. Chat soon, everyone. Bye.